Hey YouTube, what's going on? ZeroMagnumX here, and today I have something pretty special. It is my store championship winning deck profile. My matchups, just real quick to get them out of the way, were where Garurumon. Second matchup was Grandis, and the third and final matchup, because we had only like 8 players for this one, but it's fine, was like Wargreymon X Antibody. So we were in the finals, and I ended up eking it out in a best of 3. We did have side decks, so I will go over maybe what you want to change if you can't use side decks. And we also do mulligans, so that might have helped with some of the consistency, but this deck is pretty consistent to begin with. So let's start off with the eggs. We have 4 Upamon. It's just, you know, that draw a card is really good for this deck, especially whenever your opponent's like playing down searchers that want to find things. So it's I was running Xiaomon, but this might have been what got us further than we would have, because sometimes that draw mattered. For jamming Vmons, I did run a version of this deck where we had Xiaomon and it went like 2 and 2. 4 of the search for a 2-color blue card Vmon. 3 of the starter Vmon. I noticed a lot of people have been cutting this back. I think it's still really important because this specifically finds a free, so it finds your other Vmons. That's important sometimes. Like, sometimes you have to... You're in a situation whenever your armor guys got wiped out, and you have a rookie here, or no rookie here, and you could Digivolve into this, but it gives you more options. Or there's situations whenever, like, you have no aid because your guy was eliminated. Maybe playing this helps. It smooths out your draws. Like, looking for 3 instead of 1 sometimes is better. 2 of the draw Vmon. This guy came up here and there. It's not bad. I see some lists running 4. I see some lists running like a 2-2 split like I am between this and the memory Vmon. This guy didn't come up at all. I'd straight up like change this now to either more draw Vmon or like Betamons or something like that. It's fine, but it didn't come up really at all for me. Either they had a memory blocker like when it was relevant, or it just didn't matter. Like the Hammer Sparks in the deck were much better. 3 Flame Dramon. I do have like the other alt coming in the mail, in case that puts anybody like on tilt. 4 Lydramons. This card is crazy good. It let me stun a lot of cards down, and I was able to get out over them and punish my opponent because of that. The bread and butter of the deck, Magnumon. This card's incredible. This is why you run the deck. It gets really big and can block things. And sometimes too, you just you make him really big, throw a fire rocket or 2 on him, and just, you know, chug away into your opponent's life point or security and win the game there. 1 Lobomon, because Lobomon's Lobomon. It's this deck's version of Blitz Omni. 2 Chimeramon. I've seen between 2 and 3. I ended up with 2 for the rest of the deck, and it was exactly like the right amount that I needed. I never wanted to see this more than I did, and I saw it whenever it was important. Only 3 Magnumon X Antibody. This is for room purposes for the option cards, because I don't like cutting back on rookies, especially for like a rush style deck. And this card's nuts but its usefulness is only really, really over the top whenever you use the option card with him to prevent it from having its DP reduced. And it's also 3 memory. All the other times it's 4 memory, or you have to go into Chimeramon. So the ratio was to make sure this deck was low to the ground. This came up enough when I needed it and wasn't clogging. And 3 was like the correct number. 2 Davis and 3 Cannon Davis. This is the split I've seen all the armor decks run. I was on 3 and 2. This makes the deck more aggressively slanted. And a lot of time, especially in this meta, this is taking you to 3 a lot of the time anyway. Or 2, and then you have like a Hammer Spark. Speaking of which, for Hammer Spark, this card's nuts in this deck, and I don't know why people aren't running it. I understand the memory boosts are good, but being able to immediately play this when you know your opponent has a memory blocker to maximize your plays is very good. And the memory boosts don't allow you to like play 2 of these and like if you go second and then like drop a Davis to get you running. And I did that in a few games and it led to victory because this gave me my constant 3 memory and found me cards. Like this card's nuts and you just always want to make sure you can play this. That's why I hate like not running 3, but I understand why. 3 Fire Rocket, it was at 2. Buffing it to 3 was one of the best things I could have done. It let me win games I shouldn't have. 3 Megadeth, a lot of people run 4. 3 was the right number for me. I don't like this because it's 5 memory and it's clunky. I am running additional copies to hopefully see it in security when it matters. And then maybe if I have like the correct situation, which I did a few times, where I had Elijahmon out and then Kenna Davis, that this was online for essentially free if I had like 3 memory. But it's asking a lot, but it's really good removal. And then our last cards of the deck are 2 Awakening of the Golden Knight and Ice Wall. I still like Ice Wall. This card is what won, I think, versus Metal Garurumon. I'm pretty sure, like instinctively, because even though they can generate memory, this gives them still a finite amount of swings. It came up in a few of my games. Like it even came up versus like Grandis, where I think they wanted to attack with something, then they wanted to burst and like attack more or what else have you, and this prevented it. I'm not entirely sure what they had in their hand, but that's the read I got. Maybe I'm wrong. And then our side deck was real simple. 4 Modoki Betamons and 1 Death Exmon. So that is the deck profile in its entirety. I am going to caveat into some changes I would make if you're in best of 1 format. So if you're good with just knowing what the deck had, go ahead and exit out here, make your own judgment calls. For those who want to talk strategy, honestly, I feel like I would do something like this for the Modoki Betamons, or even like 3. Because this card also won me so many games every time I sided it in. It's a very, very powerful card. Just in general. Death Exmon never came up. Death Exmon is a great tech. But it didn't really do much for us, unfortunately. I can see it being good, but like I would not try to find room in the main deck for it at all or anything weird like that. I think like this being the aggressive deck and doing what it does best is what you want. But if you're in a no side deck meta, which mostly everybody is, I would find room for these. I know it cuts back on your VMons, but honestly, like the deck searches enough and has enough like push that I think you can afford it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and please check out Digimonday with us. We will be live tonight around 8 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be on my YouTube channel here, and Dapper Drabby will be over on his Twitch, and then we also will have a game of Kitmitz and I up of Armor versus Masty. It went kind of quick, but that's Armor for you. It's a fast deck, so to speak. So anyway, please remember to comment, rate, subscribe. If you like what I do, go ahead and turn on those bell notifications, and have a good one. Later, everybody.